to my Saturn Retrograde Astrology reading. I want to start this day off with a little energy clearing, maybe some distance Reiki. Let's just all take a deep breath in, as we are really entering the retrograde season already with Pluto retrograde. I already did that Pluto retrograde reading. You can check that out. I'll link down below. And now Saturn is retrograde, and then we have Neptune retrograde, and even more retrogrades to come as we move into the fall and election season happening with all these retrogrades. How are you feeling now? I just feel like I need an energy clearing every single day right now. And Saturn in Pisces went retrograde on November 15th at 19 degrees of Pisces. And this retrograde will not end until November 15th after the election at 12 degrees of Pisces. So it's going to retrograde 7 degrees back in Pisces. And this is my Shiva Lingam pendulum, and Shiva is ruled by Saturn, and that is why Saturdays are celebrating Shiva in the Hindu culture. And I just love this pendulum for Saturn. I could just sit here energy clearing all day long, because Saturn is that great spiritual teacher and lord of karma, and stationing retrograde June 29th through November 15th. This is so significant for our election season, because Trump has those heavy duty Saturn transits that I covered in a separate report that says, will Trump win? And that is the question. And I might just have to revisit his chart to see what's going on now and what will come next for him, because I did his chart way back last year, last December 2023, to see if he was going to win. And it felt like a 50-50 split between these really auspicious, positive Jupiter transits that are winning transits, but then Saturn was coming in with so much karmic lessons. So just like we are being ruled by that Libra axis, all the eclipses this year, and that Libra axis saying we've got to weigh the scales of justice and see, it's a really 50-50. It's a perfect balance Libra scale. I really can't quite tell what is going to happen yet. And when we have both Pluto and Saturn retrograde together, as we have now through November, it's like Hallows Eve time, where the veil is very thin. And we can really feel that the ghosts are showing up from the underworld, and there's just this supernatural emergence happening on our planet right now. Is anyone else feeling the supernatural? Is anyone else feeling and finding ghosts in the ethers, or is it just us Scorpios? Because I have had some really big ghost stories for this Saturn Pluto retrograde already. And this is a good time, this retrograde Pluto Saturn season, to do some ghost busting, to clear out some ghosts from your home, to clear out the energy of where you live with some space clearing, or perhaps you want to do a bridge of light if there is maybe a spirit or ghost inhabiting your house. Let me know down in the comments if you think you might have a ghost or spirit in your home. So many people do. I do space clearing, and I come across ghosts and spirits that are stuck there all the time. And I did a separate video about how to do a bridge of light. I'm going to link it down below, because I get asked this question all the time. How do you handle spirits and ghosts, or even negative entities in your home? And if you do a bridge of light with the blue flame, as I teach in this video, it is amazing for just clearing your home. It's something super easy. Anyone can do it. I'll link that below. And I did a space clearing last summer where we recorded that, where there was a little girl that was trapped in the basement, and we did a bridge of light and we set her free. It was just gives me chills thinking about it. And this Saturn retrograde season, and for Pluto retrograde, I am in love with this Mahogany Obsidian. I don't know if you can see that. Mahogany Obsidian is just keeping me grounded, even amongst the veil being thin and the supernatural energies and the ghosts that are coming. Mahogany Obsidian, I find this locally in the Glass Buttes of Oregon, where there's even rainbow obsidian in the Glass Buttes. I have not been lucky enough to find rainbow obsidian, but there's tons of this really powerful mahogany obsidian. And this is a stabilizing force. When I think Saturn retrograde, I think we all need stability now. How stable do you feel? This can stabilize you. And this helps deal with that Saturn's intense energy coming in. When a planet goes retrograde, it's like their energy is even stronger. And I am going to give away one of these mahogany obsidian stones to maybe I'll give away 3. I have a whole bunch of this mahogany obsidian, and I gave away an Orthoceras. I gave away 2 Orthoceras crystals when I did the Pluto retrograde, and you guys were telling me what was going on for you with that Pluto retrograde, and I really loved hearing your stories of reckoning, because Pluto retrograde's all about having that reckoning energy that we're still under. And if you haven't watched my Pluto retrograde, I'll link down below, because that is going to be affecting us until December of 2024. So we're really soaking in these retrogrades, really big, powerful retrogrades. And just tell me why you need this stone. If you know where 19 to 12 degrees of Pisces shows up in your chart, I would love to know. I love to know where this retrograde is hitting you. But if you don't know your chart, just let me know why you think you could use this stabilizing obsidian. And mahogany obsidian is so soothing. If you're going through any kind of crisis, this is like a mother soothing a baby kind of energy, that it's just a comforting stone to work with. I love this one. And if you're going through any big spiritual lessons, like so many of us are with this Saturn retrograde, this mahogany obsidian will just relieve stress and tension, and it helps you to manifest abundance. Mahogany obsidian is a manifesting stone, and this might be my most used crystal for just daily using it in healing sessions with massage and Reiki clients. This is a crystal ally, and it has this gorgeous red. I hope you can see it. The red comes from a high iron content within the stone, which makes this a blood building stone, just like bloodstone has that red in there too. And it works wonders for anemia, low energy, low blood pressure, any kind of blood depletion. It heals the heart after emotional trauma or heartbreak. And I am such a fan. I love this, is my favorite, because it has one of those like little thumb soothers. You know, you can put your thumb there when you're stressed or you're just thinking about things. And I love stones that have a place for your thumb to sort of massage it. Maybe that's just me. I'm very kinesthetic. But I would love to give away a few of these mahogany obsidian. So leave a comment. Tell me what you're going through. Tell me how this stone can help comfort you in whatever Saturn retrograde kind of crisis you might be in, because we're all going to be feeling Saturn retrograde, who's bringing this reality check to us. And that is going to pair nicely with Neptune retrograde, snapping us out of our illusions and our delusions and our fantasies. And maybe if I win the lottery, that will save me. These retrogrades are really bringing us into our subconscious to look at what needs to heal, what needs to change from a deep core level, so that we can move forward. And maybe we need to overcome some limiting beliefs or ancestral wounds, or just bad stories that we tell ourselves, right? Our old trauma, our old soul wounds. These retrogrades are digging deep to pull it all up. And the Mahogany Obsidian sort of helps you process everything that can come up, because we will be feeling all the feels from now until the fall with Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune retrograde, and more retrogrades to come. Stay tuned. And this is a very intuitive retrograde season where big soul lessons are coming up. I've already been feeling some, and just pay attention to who is showing up in your life right now and what are the lessons they're bringing you. Because we can really have encounters with past life teachers now, people we've known and had dramas and traumas with in past lives. And these past life teachers will re-emerge in this lifetime to say, your work is not done with me yet. And let me know if you've experienced that. Have you met someone recently? Maybe if you started a new job and you have new people in your life, there's these people just emerging now. And these are not easy lessons that are coming in. I feel like I just want to avoid the lessons. I just want to avoid the people who are showing up. But just like going to school, it's better to just complete the lesson, complete the task, even if you just get a passing C grade. Do the work, do the lesson. Don't try to avoid, because the lessons will only get bigger and harder if you try to avoid it. You have to learn these lessons. Saturn is the teacher. The karmic lessons are coming, and just do your homework. Be open to learning whatever you need to learn from this assignment as best you can. Show up, learn the lesson so you can transcend and move on to that higher plateau spiritually. This is the lessons of Saturn retrograde. And this Saturn in Pisces is forming an exact trine to Pallas Athena in Scorpio, who has been retrograde since March and is just going to station direct on July 9th. Mark your calendars for July 9th when Pallas Athena in Scorpio stations retrograde. This is a powerful moment trining this Saturn retrograde. And as a Scorpio myself, with Pallas Athena crossing my stellium of planets, I've really been feeling the call to wisdom. And what is the wisdom that I know, and what is the wisdom I can share? And I'm really wanting to teach people who are younger than me some of the wisdom that I have accumulated. And I'm also learning from my past mistakes and hoping I don't repeat those lessons. And that's what comes from a Pallas retrograde, which we're just wrapping up now. And finally, on July 9th, when Pallas Athena stations forward, and this has this trine with Saturn, this is going to bring an opportunity to create a brand new strategy. Because Pallas Athena is that wise goddess Athena who's always creating those powerful strategies to get ahead, to accomplish something, to gain wisdom. And this strategy will come from a higher place of divine feminine wisdom, where we release our need to control the outcome. We don't need to control the outcome when we're trying to manifest something. Instead, we can tap into this higher vibrational love energy so that the outcome is for the best for everybody involved. And then we can manifest even more when we manifest than when we manifest by sheer effort. You know, manifesting by effort and working hard, that is the old way. That 3D mindset is kind of crumbling before our eyes. We're moving into this fifth dimensional age of Aquarius, where we can manifest with thoughts turning into things and our higher vibrational energetic alignment. And this is something I teach when I teach Reiki classes. this is something I have witnessed in the Gen Zs. Generation Z has come here to teach us how to manifest from this higher vibrational. I really believe Gen Zs are the old souls with this kind of divine wisdom, and they will manifest with ease and grace through energetic alignment. I have seen this in Gen Zs, and pay attention because Gen Zs are great teachers if you will watch and learn how they do go about things. They're not going to work so hard like the generations that came before them. They're just going to make it happen by their energetic vibration, and that's very fifth dimensional, and that's where our world is moving into. And this Pallas Athena trine Saturn ties in so well with those double Capricorn full moons that we're having, bringing us those lofty goals to accomplish. But what if we could reach our big lofty goals with ease and grace instead of working so hard? Just be like Athena, you know, with her bow and arrow, and there's an ease and a grace to the way that she has mastered her ability to hit the bullseye. And it comes from this focus, and it's not that she's trying so hard. There's an effortlessness about it when you have that kind of mastery. And Athena is a master of archery and the martial arts. And that Pallas trine Saturn asks us to harness this kind of mastery and focus and coordination and skill so that we can hit the bullseye of our own lofty Capricorn full moon goals. What are your goals? What would you like to accomplish? And can you accomplish it with ease and grace? If you let me know your goals and your intention for this cycle of this Saturn retrograde, which is all about goals. Saturn is the taskmaster who loves for us to achieve our goals. What goals do you set for yourself in this Saturn retrograde? Leave them in the comments and I'll send distance Reiki for those goals to be accomplished, for you to hit the bullseye with mastery, with ease and grace. You don't have to effort so hard to make it happen. And Athena is that warrioress. So we may face battles when Saturn trines Pallas Athena during this time. There could be obstacles and conflicts with others, those big soul lessons. But we can tap into our deep energetic reserve and find our Pallas Athena superpowers during this time. She has the superpowers of telepathy. She can send messages with her mind. Have you ever done that? Have you ever thought about somebody and then they call? That's that kind of telepathy you can have with others. And Athena also used mind control, intuition. Did you know she could even change her reality at will, affecting the weather around her and even morphing her surroundings? She could change a difficult situation into a beautiful garden just with the power of her mind. It's pretty powerful. And she could manifest objects out of thin air. She was known to manifest her bow and arrow out of thin air when she didn't have it with her. How did she do that? And she was really powerful because she was the only goddess who was immune from Aphrodite's love spells. Aphrodite was always making people fall in love with each other, but Athena was immune to it, so she couldn't be tricked into falling in love with the wrong person. That's a superpower a lot of us could use. And she could also both bless and curse other people with her powerful mind superpowers. And talk about divine feminine powers. Athena, you could go down the rabbit hole. I welcome you to Google Pallas Athena. You will learn so much about her incredible superpowers. And when she is trine Saturn, Saturn represents service, your career, responsibilities, and Saturn is that taskmaster who's really going to make sure you do your work to the best of your ability. You learn the lessons, do the work. All sorts of obstacles are going to come of this Saturn return. And these are going to provide valuable soul lessons. And it always makes me think of the god Ganesh, who I have right here. And you can pray to this god Ganesh to remove any obstacles, struggles, conflicts, or hard soul lessons that are in your way. But the reason that you can pray to Ganesh to remove the obstacles is the truth is Ganesh put those obstacles there before you to teach you valuable lessons. And Ganesh is the epitome of Saturn in my mind. Ganesh can remove the obstacles because Ganesh put them there to teach you the lesson. And I am someone who has a really strong 29 degrees of Saturn in my 10th house. 10th house is ruled by Saturn, so this is as strong cup of coffee Saturn as you can get. And that is why I always feel like I've had some big, hard soul lessons. And I've always loved Ganesh because Ganesh has helped me handle it. And sometimes Ganesh will remove the obstacles in all these hard lessons I've had in this lifetime. I've had some dark nights of the soul, especially as a Scorpio. I've had near-death experiences, two times near-death experience. Have you ever had a near-death experience? That is, talk about the biggest lesson. And we could see that kind of near-death experience with this Saturn retrograde. And all of these, believe it or not, are gifts from Saturn. Saturn is a weird gift maker, but these will help you become a better person, a better healer, and they will strengthen your soul. So if you're going through a difficult time, I mean, it is going to get better. And this is just here to toughen up your soul and make you bigger. And look at the struggles, trials, conflicts of some of our greatest spiritual teachers like Jesus. I'd love to see what his Saturn transits are because that's somebody who's had some big lessons. And a lot of really powerful people have these kind of obstacles and struggles and lessons from Saturn. And Saturn represents karma. And when Saturn is retrograde, your karma is either punished or rewarded at a higher rate. It's like the stakes are higher now. So if you've committed crimes in the past, like certain ex-presidents that we know, then the sentence may be more severe than usual just because we're in this Saturn retrograde. However, if you've been really good in your past, if you've given to others, you may just reap a bounty of rewards, some unexpected financial windfall. Good things can show up for you too. So karma's not always bad. There's good karma too under this Saturn retrograde. And I like to think of Saturn like Santa Claus coming at Christmas, and he's checking to see if you're on the naughty or the nice list. And Saturn can reward with great wealth. Saturn rules over great wealth. And so this could be a great time for investments or getting a huge financial settlement. Maybe you've had a lawsuit and you're finally going to get paid, and the money will show up for those of you on the nice list. But if you're on the naughty list, look out because Saturn may bring retribution to you now. And this is just like I said, in the Pluto retrograde, we are really in this time of a reckoning force with Pluto and Saturn together. So those on the naughty list may have to pay their dues, and they may have to do the time for the crime. And if somebody owes you money, getting it back during Saturn retrograde is your best chance of getting paid back. So you might want to ask people who owe you money to pay you back while Saturn is in retrograde. And at its very worst, Saturn retrograde can be a time of deep-seated fears about a reality coming up. And if you're not in a good place, it's like looking in the mirror and seeing everything that's wrong. This could be a time of limitations, restrictions, anxiety. There may be rules that seem unfair, or you may just be worried. I always like to say worrying is like praying for what you don't want. Try not to worry about, don't fall into that catastrophic thinking where you're thinking about the worst possible thing that can happen. And I like to say, cancel to that. You know, these things come up like, oh God, what if this happens? Cancel. It's not happening. It's not real. And Saturn, of course, rules over wealth and money from a more accounting perspective, whereas Jupiter and Venus are really fun for manifesting money. Saturn is like, it's time to look at your bank account and make sure you have enough money so you don't go into debt. Saturn rules over debt too. And Saturn rules over how you are handling your wealth. So this is a period of time to really have your mind on your money and your money on your mind, and make sure you are checking your bank accounts, checking your credit cards, and making sure there's no banking hacks or frauds or credit card mishaps. These are more common than ever during a Saturn retrograde. And it seems like we are just less in touch with our money in this digital age where it's just a number in a computer. Maybe you're not paying attention, but you'll really want to focus and have that, you know, Pallas Athena kind of focus and attention on your bank accounts. Because if you get some kind of hacking or claim, sometimes you have a limited amount of time where you can make a claim against it. So pay attention, checking your accounts every day, checking your investments during this Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And Saturn in Pisces is that sea goat, that beautiful mystical sea goat returning to its primordial beginning, deep in the ocean. This is a softer placement for Saturn than, say, Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn in Capricorn is right at home, but Saturn in Capricorn is very stern and responsibilities and work hard. Saturn in Pisces, we can tap into our intuition, our mystical, magical mind to find these solutions to your problems that can come more from a place of your subconscious, deep in that underworld, under the ocean mind. And so this is a time with Saturn in Pisces when you want to ask your dreams for advice. I have been having incredible dreams lately. Are any of you guys having like a lot of dreams? I don't know if it's the solar storms or all these retrogrades, but I'm having like amazing dreams. So pay attention, maybe get a journal and start writing out your dreams. But you can also ask your dreams for advice. Something I like to do, I studied dream psychology. And one thing we were taught is you take a glass of water, put it next to your bedside. You can ask your dreams anything. How can I solve this problem, dream? And then you say, in the morning when I drink the water, I will remember the dream that gives me the solution to my problems. And it is remarkable. Sometimes when I have done this, I will wake up and think, oh, darn, I didn't dream. And then I drink the water and it comes back to me that, oh, wait, I did have a dream about something that is a solution. So tap into your intuitive mind, however that looks like for you, doing meditation, yoga, nature therapy, dancing. If you have other ideas about how to tap into your intuitive mind, leave them in the comments. We can share with each other ways to tap in to that intuitive Pisces mind during this Saturn in Pisces retrograde. We can really find support in community in this Saturn retrograde. You don't have to go it alone. Pisces wants you to, come together, friends. Pisces rules over that 12th house, that spiritual leader house. So really look to the spiritual leaders and the wise ones in your life and get help if you need it, because this is going to be a difficult retrograde season, I think. And Pisces in the 12th house is about spiritual leaders coming forth, and we have just had that white buffalo being born, and that is a sign of this awakening, collective awakening. I've been talking about this all year long. In this dragon year, we always see a collective awakening And there are these signs and symbols of this Messiah that is coming, this wonderful spiritual leader. And I just did Kamala Harris astrology chart reading, and she has some interesting 12th house transits that really shows that she is a spiritual leader and an old soul in her own right. So perhaps she's one of the many powerful leaders that will come forth in the years to come. But that 12th house Pisces rules an awakening, collective awakening, and spiritual leaders. And I just want to read the Sabian symbol because it ties in so well with this. The Sabian symbol for 19 degrees of Pisces, where Saturn stations retrograde, is a master instructing his disciple, and the transfer of power and knowledge, which keeps an original spiritual and creative impulse of the cycle active and undeviated. The Hindu idea of the sacred relationship between guru and disciple has a similar significance to the apostles' succession of the Roman Catholic Church, and the power and archetypal knowledge released in the beginning of any cycle of creation must be perpetuated until the very last day. And this is the Omega state, which Teilhard de Chardin glowingly speaks about in writings. And the power is within the self in a cyclical manifestation. The unchanging tone of Om. This brings all existences within this cycle that can be transmitted from master to disciple through initiation or attunement. And it must be transmitted for when the line of transmission, also known as Guru Ampara, is discontinued. The cyclic process of manifestation begins to collapse in futility and spiritual darkness. So this is a clue to the supreme technique necessary for manifestation of power and spiritual understanding. The transmission goes from person to person, and it follows a consistent pattern. And the key word is investiture. Investiture. This is a ceremony of formally granting honor and rank to a person one has invested in. And this Saturn retrograde in Pisces is a good time to invest in people, to be the guru with the student, or if you're the student having a guru. These kind of spiritual connections, it reminds me of teaching Reiki. I just taught summer solstice, and this, cyclical patterns of attunement, initiation into this higher vibrational energy. That is Reiki. That is also a way of teaching people something that brings them out of spiritual darkness and into this collective awakening. And I really believe we need more energy healers on our planet right now. That's why I'm so devoted to teaching Reiki, and why I want to start teaching online Reiki even, so I can pass this knowledge on. And this is a time when you're really going to want to appreciate your loved ones, your family, your friends, even your coworkers. And like the Flaming Lips said, do you realize that everyone you know right now will someday die? And that is very Saturn retrograde. Instead of saying all your goodbyes, let them know you realize that life goes fast and it's hard to make these good times last. And I also think of Saturn retrograde as a grim reaper of sorts. Saturn is just such an intense teacher, and sometimes Saturn is going to bring death as well. And we may see more death under this retrograde. So make sure you're appreciating everyone in your life while they're still here, while you can still shower them with love. Really take a moment to appreciate the people that you love in your life. And I thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.